trust you're having a good afternoon on this 24th day of April. You're watching The Weekend at 1 with me, Michelle Ngele. Our top stories this hour. The 36th edition of the London Marathon is underway as defending champion Eliud Kipchoge seeks to extend the Kenyans' dominance in the race. Now, South Sudan's rebel chief Riek Machar missed an international deadline to return to Juba yesterday to become vice president under a peace deal hoped to end a war, claiming the government denied him permission. Machar appeared at an airport in Ethiopia ready to return home to the capital, but said the government in Juba failed to grant him clearance to fly, despite monitors completing the required weapons verification. UN Chief Ban Ki-moon has urged Machar to return to Juba without delay, while the US, Britain and Norway, who are key international backers of peace efforts, demanded he returns immediately. South Sudan's civil war began in December 2013 when Kir accused Machar of plotting a coup. The conflict has reignited ethnic divisions characterized by gross human rights violations. And Deputy President William Ruto is accusing a section of CORD leaders of being economic saboteurs and wants Kenyans to shun them. The Deputy President claimed the opposition CORD lacks vision and cannot therefore offer the country credible alternatives. Speaking in Mutumo, Kitui during a fundraiser in aid of women groups, Ruto said Kenyans need development and not constant politicking. He was accompanied by over 20 members of parliament, including several Wiper Party members of parliament from the area. Some of the MPs present urged the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka to abandon CORD and join Jubilee.
Kijiji kingine ni cha mama.
Yule mtu story mingi ule alituambia juzi ya kwamba wakati alisema aliuliza maswali ya Eurobond, tukamwambia aende aone Rotich ambaye ni cabinet secretary wa mambo ya fedha. Yeye ndiye ako na majibu ya vile tumekusanya ushuru na vile tumechukua mikopo. Ako na majibu yote. Akakataa, akasema huyo Rotich ni mtu mdogo sana. Sasa juzi mimi nashangaa amewachana na Rotich, alisema ni mdogo. Ameenda kwa governor wa Central Bank ambaye ni mdogo hata zaidi kwa Rotich. Sasa unashangaa huyu mtu ni majibu anatafuta, ni hukumu anatafuta, ama ni nini anatafuta, ama ni propaganda? Ni mtu tu story. Sasa hutaki kuongea na waziri, unasema ni mdogo. Unaenda kutafuta mtu karani ya bank, unataka kuongea na yeye sasa.
This comes as the Deputy President is attending a Sunday church service in Nairobi's Dagoretti area. Let's start listening to part of that service.
Silo IGP amenifurahisha kuiba ile wimbo napenda sana. Na hata rais anapenda hiyo wimbo. Inasema ni kule gaike. Wiki iliyopita nikaenda huko Roysabu tukiwa na Deputy President. Na Mheshimiwa Lecho Sebesh na Njoroge hapa. Na nikasema Mungu hakuna mtu hawezi kuokoa. Ona usiogere. No ahonokete guo. Imagine ndatumiro bishata ici aima kanitho muthi. Tuseme amen. Lakini hiyo picha nikaangalia ameweka mikono kwa mfuko. Sasa lakini ni vizuri, unajua ataendelea kusoma polepole. Kwanza ni kuingia kanisa, hiyo ameingia. Pili ni kumfundisha hapana weka mkono kwa mfuko kwa kanisa. Hii safari ni ndefu, lakini tutatembea na yeye, tutamfunza. Ni vizuri ameingia kwa kanisa. Mimi nataka kuambia watu sana sana Raila Odinga. Mara ya kwanza ukasema umeibiwa ilikuwa wakati wa Chesoni. Chesoni amefariki. Mara ya pili ni Kivuitu. Kivuitu amefariki. Sasa hii Hassan unasema unaibiwa. Unaibiwa na waliokufa na walio hai na watakaokuja. Jameni. Kwa heteri karega yule kwa heteri. Uyo le amakuire. Uyo le amekuo. No kayo le amagoka. Na ndio mimi nasema kama wewe mama mtoto wako anakuja na kuambia mama kalamu imeibiwa shule. Unamwambia pole, nitaongea na mwalimu. Siku ya pili imeibiwa. Siku ya tatu imeibiwa. Si utamuuliza wewe mtoto yangu, shida ni kalamu, ni mwizi ama ni wewe? kale oyago ngai baba no oyago na itu ni mwana tareke kihariro itu tugaga na niwaambia Raila, you are entitled to your own opinion but you are not entitled to your own facts. Kesho ukiingia ABC mimi utanikuta hapo. Kama wewe ni mwanaume utanikuta wapi? Hapo kuja tu tuongee.
The Secretary General of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, Francis Atwoli, is asking the government to honor all collective bargaining agreements reached with workers' unions. Speaking at St. Stephen's Anglican Church during a special mass ahead of Labour Day, Atwoli said it was wrong for the government to block efforts by workers to meet him. Present during the event was CORD leader Raila Odinga. We are joined by our reporter Murimi Mwangi live from the church. Murimi, good afternoon. Tell us more about this event today and who are present.
And so it has been the day of prayers for Kotu ahead of the Labour Day celebrations that are set for May the 1st. The 50th time that the giant workers' union is set to hold that crucial day that, of course, presents an opportunity for them to articulate the issues of the Kenyan workers. And on the service here at the ACK St. Stephen's Church here along Jogoo Road in Nairobi, key issues among those that we expect to emerge on Friday are, of course, the unfulfilled collective bargaining agreements that are yet to be put into force. Again, issues of the minimum wage of the Kenyan workers in the public sector as well as in the private sector. And the information or the statements from the various leaders that spoke here is that the government or whatever workers in the private sector seem to be frustrating the Kenyan workers if the CBAs are not enforced despite being signed between the various players in whatever disputes that are there, the labor disputes that are there. And in particular, the ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi complained that the government seems to be frustrating the teachers. You remember late last year, the government was locked in a bitter war of words with the two giant teachers unions, NAT and KUPPET, a dispute that saw the intervention of President Uhuru Kenyatta himself when he invited leaders from the two unions to State House. And the discussions between the teachers and their employer, the TSC, were set to take off late last year. But up to now, the teachers insist that they are yet to get the fruits of that campaign that saw them be on the streets for a whole 1 week as the dispute went on between the teachers and the TSC. And of course, earlier this week, the General Secretary of the Trade Workers Union Congress of Kenya had issued a statement to the effect that workers across the public and private sector would be going on strike if the government does not enforce the CBAs ahead of that Labour Day celebrations on Friday. And therefore, key issues that we expect to emerge on Friday are, of course, issues to do with the working conditions of Kenyan workers, issues of pressure for the government to better the working condition to attract investors and create opportunities for more Kenyans. But interestingly, even on the function here, aside from the labor issues, politics took center stage yet again. Remember, CORD leader Raila Odinga was here. He was accompanied by Musalia Mudavadi of ANC and a host of other opposition leaders. But key among the leaders from the ruling Jubilee coalition that were here was Johnston Sakaja, nominated MP who also happens to be the TNA chairman, one who is said to be eyeing the gubernatorial seat here in Nairobi. And interestingly, the CORD leaders that spoke here seemed to be signaling the nominated TNA MP and of course the chairman of TNA, Mr. Johnston Sakaja, to move over to the opposition if he's keen to take the position of governor for Nairobi. And of course other issues include the dispute between the IEBC and the CORD coalition and the churches that want the IEBC to undergo a total overhaul ahead of the 2017 general election. And therefore it's a space to watch going into tomorrow, as the CORD coalition has insisted that they will be staging a sit-in at the IEBC headquarters here in Nairobi. And so from here at the St. Stephen's Church here in Nairobi, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you very much. That is KTN's Murimi Mwangi reporting from the St. Stephen's Church in Nairobi, where the Central Organization of Trade Unions is holding a prayer day ahead of the Labor Day celebrations on Friday. Moving on now, reports reaching our newsroom indicate that renowned Congolese musician Papa Wemba has died. Papa Wemba collapsed while performing at a music concert in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. He is believed to have been about 70 years old. Wemba is a favorite of many Kenyans, and his music is revered, especially hits such as Show Me the Way and Yolele. May he rest in peace. You're watching The Weekend at 1. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to The Weekend at 1. A section of Miraa farmers from Bere are demanding to be given a share of the 1 billion shillings allocated by the government to cushion Miraa farmers in the Mount Kenya region. The farmers say the funds should help cushion all Miraa farmers rather than a section. President Uhuru Kenyatta last week announced the boost to help Miraa farmers following a ban slapped by some European nations.
Wakati Miraa ilikuja ilitusaidia sana juu manake tumefundisha watoto wetu kutoka primary level, college level mpaka university level, na ukiingia mashinani pia utakuta kulikuwa na nyumba nyingi za nyazi, lakini wakati huu nyumba zile nyingi ziko ni za mabati, za mawe na za maturuvari. Kwa hivyo Miraa imetusaidia sana zaidi.
Ningetaka kujua kama, kwa sababu nimesikia amepeana 1 billion kwa wakulima wa Meru, kama hiyo pesa pia sisi wakulima wa Muguka huku Mbere ama Embu County itatufikia sisi.
Sasa tungetaka hata
To health matters now, Bura Member of Parliament Ali Wario is urging the Tana River County administration to take urgent steps to contain the cholera outbreak in the area. Wario said the county should focus on mobilizing health workers and stocking the required drugs.
Umetenga pesa ngapi? Kuna madawa kiasi gani? Kuna madaktari wangapi umewatayarisha kurespond? Kwa hiyo manake hiyo kitu ki-strike ni hatari. Historia ya kusema watu hawajakufa si ukweli. Watoto wamekufa upande ya Boka, watoto wamekufa.
It is on that note that we wind up The Weekend at 1. Many thanks for watching. My name is Michelle Ngele. Coming up next on KTN Home is an entertaining episode of Jameni, while African Voices is up next on KTN News. Good afternoon.